हेलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम टू आवर यूट्यूब चैनल कॉल फॉर नॉलेज। तो फ्रेंड्स, आज हम लोग जो मॉडर्न इंडियन हिस्ट्री डिस्कस कर रहे हैं घटना चक्र से, उसका आज 7th चैप्टर डिस्कस करेंगे हम लोग। सिविल अपराइजिंग 1857 जो रिवोल्ट है वो हमने पहले क्लास में डिस्कस कर लिया है, तो आपने नहीं देखा है तो उसे आप पहले देख लीजिए। फिर जो ये है ये अदर रिवोल्ट्स हैं जो 1857 के बाद हुए और कुछ 1857 से पहले हुए। तो हम स्टार्ट करते हैं। Revolt of 1857 was followed by Indigo Revolt in 1859 and 60। जस्ट 1857 के रिवोल्ट के बाद कौन सा रिवोल्ट हुआ था? तो इंडिगो रिवोल्ट हुआ था। देन सन्यासी रिवोल्ट इन 1763 to 1800 एंड संथाल रिवोल्ट। जो संथाल रिवोल्ट है वो 1857 से जस्ट पहले हुआ था। तो ये क्वेश्चन आ सकता है कि 1857 से जस्ट पहले कौन सा रिवोल्ट हुआ था? तो संथाल रिवोल्ट। और 1857 के बाद कौन सा हुआ था? तो इंडिगो रिवोल्ट। और ऐसे ही अदर रिवोल्ट्स हैं, पबना अपराइजिंग एंड अदर मेजर अपराइजिंग दैट टाइम। इंडिगो रिवोल्ट वाज स्टार्टेड इन गोविंदपुर विलेज ऑफ नदिया डिस्ट्रिक्ट इन बंगाल and farmers there stopped the indigo cultivation under the leadership of two workers, Digambar Vishwas and Vishnu Vishwas, who worked for an indigo cultivators once। जो 1857 जो इंडिगो रिवोल्ट है वो गोविंदपुर विलेज नदिया डिस्ट्रिक्ट बंगाल में स्टार्ट हुआ था। जो इंडिगो रिवोल्ट था, इंडिगो प्लांटर्स थे, वो फार्मर को प्रेशराइज करते थे कि आपको इंडिगो उपजाना ही है। तो जिससे कि जो फार्मर था उनको बहुत लॉस होता था इससे, क्योंकि इससे जो लैंड होता था वो इनफर्टाइल हो जाता था। वो अदर जो हाई पेइंग क्रॉप्स होता है जैसे राइस वो उगाना चाहते थे, लेकिन इनके लिए क्या करता था यूरोपियन प्लांटर्स कि वो लोग इनको अपने झांसा में लेने के लिए इन्हें एडवांस में पैसा देते थे और इनसे कुछ पेपर्स साइन करवा लेते थे कि बाद में ये मना नहीं कर सके कि हम जो इंडिगो है वो कल्टीवेट नहीं करेंगे। तो ये जो पीजेंट का एंगर था धीरे 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 वो एक रिवोल्ट में बदल गया, जिसमें कि दिगंबर विश्वास एंड विष्णु विश्वास मेजर रोल प्ले करते हैं। नेक्स्ट फिर हम लोग देखते हैं, ये इंडिगो रिवोल्ट हो गया। द हरिश्चंद्र मुखर्जी, द एडिटर ऑफ हिंदू पैट्रियट, प्लेड एन इम्पोर्टेंट रोल इन दिस। थ्रू दिस नील दर्पण दीनबंधु मित्र ओपनली पिक्चराइज्ड द एट्रोसिटी ऑफ इंडिगो प्लांटेशन ऑनर ऑन द फार्मर देयर। जो नील दर्पण है उसको किसने लिखा था? तो दीनबंधु मित्र ने। ये डायरेक्टली क्वेश्चन आते हैं, ये सब ये हमें बिल्कुल याद होने चाहिए। वंदे मातरम सॉन्ग इज डिराइव्ड फ्रॉम द फेमस नॉवल आनंद मठ रिटन बाय बंकिम चंद्र चटर्जी। द प्लॉट ऑफ दिस नॉवल इज बेस्ड ऑन सन्यासी रिवोल्ट। जो ये वंदे मातरम सॉन्ग है वो डिराइव किया गया था आनंद मठ जो नॉवल है बंकिम चंद्र चटर्जी ने जो लिखा है, और ये नॉवल सन्यासी रिवोल्ट पे बेस्ड था। वंदे मातरम वाज द सॉन्ग फर्स्ट टाइम इन कांग्रेस सेशन ऑफ कलकत्ता 1896। ये सॉन्ग फर्स्ट टाइम कलकत्ता सेशन जब हुआ था 1896 में, तब गाया गया था। वहाबी मूवमेंट which continued from 4 to 7 decade of 19th century provided an organized stiff resistance to Britishers। Sayyid Ahmad Barlevi of Raebareli was propounder of this movement। He was inspired by Abdul Wahab of Arab। In India, the movement majorly inspired by Shah Waliullah of Delhi। By the effort of Sayyid Ahmad Barweli, this ideology soon spread to northwest frontier provinces Bengal, Bihar, Kabul and central provinces। He captured Peshawar for some time in 1830 but soon killed in Battle of Balkot। He introduced coin with the name in Peshawar। उसके बाद हम लोग देखते हैं, आफ्टर द डेथ ऑफ सैयद अहमद बारलेवी पटना बिकेम द सेंटर ऑफ दिस मूवमेंट। जो वहाबी मूवमेंट का सेंटर था वो पटना मेन सेंटर बन गया था। ड्यूरिंग दिस पीरियड लीडरशिप वाज प्रोवाइडेड बाय मौलवी कासिम, विलायत अली, इनायत अली, अहमदुल्ला etc। After Patna, the branch of this movement was established in Hyderabad, Madras, Bengal, UP and Bombay। अब नेक्स्ट हमारा कूका मूवमेंट इज मोर और लेस सिमिलर टू वहाबी मूवमेंट बोथ स्टार्टेड एज अ रिलीजियस मूवमेंट। जो कूका मूवमेंट और वहाबी मूवमेंट था दोनों एक रिलीजियस मूवमेंट स्टार्ट हुआ था, बट लेटर गॉट ट्रांसफॉर्म्ड इनटू पॉलिटिकल मूवमेंट, बाद में वो ट्रांसफॉर्म हो गया था, विच हैड कॉमन गोल of exclusion of Britishers from India. In 1840, Bhagat Jawaharlal, who was mainly known as Sian Sahab, started this movement from Western Punjab. ये जो सियान साहब थे इन्होंने ये कूका मूवमेंट को वेस्टर्न पंजाब में स्टार्ट किया था। द मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ मूवमेंट वाज टू क्लीनलेस द सिख रिलीजन ऑफ ऑल सुपरस्टिशियस एविल प्रैक्टिस एंड टू मेक इट प्योर। In 1872, the leader of this movement, Ram Singh Kuka, was exiled to Rangoon, where he died in 1885. Pagalpanthi was the semi-religious group founded by करम शाह। जो पागलपंथी रिवोल्ट था वो करम शाह के द्वारा फाउंड किया गया था। The tribal peasant organized themselves under Karam Shah, the son of Tipu, to fight the operation of Jamindar. The Tipu captured Sherpur in 1825 and made himself the king. He became so powerful that he started exercising the sovereign power, like appointing a judge, a magistrate, and collector. The Farazis were followers of Muslim sects founded by Haji Shariatullah of Faridpur in eastern Bengal. They advocated radical religious, social, political change. Dadu Mian organized and his followers with an aim to expel the English from Bengal. This revolt continued in between 1838 and 60, and followers of these sects got merged into Wahhabi movement. और जो इम्पोर्टेंट मूवमेंट्स है वो हम लोग अच्छे से देख लेते हैं। नेक्स्ट है हमारा कोल रिवोल्ट वॉज लेड बाय बुद्धो भगत इन छोटा नागपुर एरिया इन 1831 and 32. In this movement continued intermittently till 1848, when this revolt was finally suppressed. Baghera revolt in Baroda was against the English. It took place in 1880. Chronological order of the main revolt in India before 87. जो 1857 से पहले जो रिवोल्ट हुआ है उस ये क्रोनोलॉजिकल ऑर्डर में आप ऐसे ही याद कर लेना। बंगाल सिपॉय म्यूटनी, नेक्स्ट है वेलोर सिपॉय म्यूटनी, रिवोल्ट ऑफ कच्छ, कोल रिवोल्ट एंड संथाल रिवोल्ट। जो संथाल रिवोल्ट है वो बहुत ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है बीपीएससी के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से। हर साल एक क्वेश्चन इसमें से तो आता ही है। इन 1855-56 Thal was an important tribal revolt in which we see a lot of tribal anger hurted against the Britishers. The revolt took place at Damin-e-Koh area between Bhagalpur and Rajmahal Hill. ये भी आता है कि किस एरिया में हुआ था, तो बिटवीन भागलपुर एंड राजमहल हिल्स के बीच में हुआ था। मनी लेंडर्स and Britishers were exploiting them together. Interest ranging from 50 to 500% was taken from the Santhal borrowers. Sindhu, Kanhu, Chand, Bhairav, जो 4 brothers थे, who gave the leadership to this revolt. Sindhu once said, official, God said to me that this country is not of bosses. God will fight from our side. And in this way, these bosses and soldiers will fight with God. And the revolt continued till 1856. At last, all the leaders were captured and revolt was suppressed. 1855, Santhal revolted. Bhaginidhi Taluka of Bhagalpur. Santhal defeated the army of Britishers led by Major Baro. ये भी आता है कि जो ब्रिटिश जो फाइट कर रहे थे संथाल से, वो उस टाइम के जो मेजर थे वो कौन था, तो मेजर बारो। एट लास्ट कमिश्नर ऑफ भागलपुर बारो मेजर लियोड रूथलेसली सप्रेस द रिवोल्ट। नेक्स्ट है हमारा भील रिवोल्ट। भील कम्युनिटी विच लिव्ड ऑन द वेस्टर्न कोस्ट इन Khandesh revolted against English in 1813, 1818 and 1831, officially blamed Peshwa Bajirao II and his representative for Trayambarji Dangalia for insisting the Bhils for revolt. In reality, the agricultural hardship and the fear of a new English government was the main reason of the revolt. In 1825, under the leadership of Sevaram Bhils, revolted again, and Britishers ruthlessly suppressed the revolt for the second time with some efforts. Rampa Rebellion. Rampa Hills area lies in the south, lies north of Godavari River in Andhra Pradesh, and the tribal revolt was against the exploitation by moneylender and Forest Act. In the second half of 19th century, Surji Bhagat and Govind Guru, named the social reformer, tried to bring some reform in the tribal community residing in Mewar, Rajasthan, Dungarpur, Bansawada, Sirohi, Pali, etc. Guru Govind established Sabhya Sabha in 1833 with the aim to organize Bhils. He called propounder of Lasodhia movement. Birsa Munda led the revolt of Munda tribe 1899 and 1900. Collective farming prevailed in the Munda community, but Jamindar, contractors, moneylender, etc. attacked this tradition to cut their own interest. Munda chief fought 30 years to preserve their traditional farming, and this revolt, also known as Sardari fight. In 1859, Birsa declared himself as the messenger of God, and the revolt was most famous among the revolt of this time. The revolt started against attempt to replace the traditional collective farming practice with the Jamindari individual ownership practice. Khunut Kati Mundari was the traditional collective farming practice of Munda. But with the passage of the time, Birsa transformed this revolt into the religious and political movement, and he is called Jagat Pita, Dharti Aba. ये सब सारे क्वेश्चंस आते हैं कि जगत पिता, धरती आबा किसे कहा जाता है, तो बिरसा मुंडा. He said, "We will fight with non-tribals and will color this land red with their blood like a red flag." In March 1900, Birsa was arrested and died in prison. And this area is between Ranchi and Bhagalpur was under his influence. He called for the worship of one god, Singh Bhonga, renouncing of the worship of the other god. Thakkar Bap used word Adivasi for the tribal population. ये भी आता है कि ठक्कर बाप किसे बोला जाता है. He was general secretary of Harijan Sevak Sangh. Hall's revolt 1820-21 took place at Santhal subdivision of Bihar. Next है हमारा Mopala revolt. Mopla revolt took place 1821 at Malabar area. Here the Muslims were the major sharecroppers, tenants, and the Hindu were Jamindars, and the revolt took place due to the exploitation by Jamindar. Ahom revolt 1828 was led by Gomdhar Kunwar. Tana Bhagat movement was started in 1914 at Chota Nagpur. Oron tribes Jatra Bhagat, Balram Bhagat, and Devmenia Bhagat led this revolt. Jadonang was the first tribal leader inspired by Mahatma Gandhi and his philosophy. He was pioneer of freedom fighter of Naga community in Manipur. तो हम लोग क्वेश्चन आंसर देखते हैं यहाँ से. फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन जो IAS प्री 1994 में पूछा गया है, विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग अपील्स टुक प्लेस इन बंगाल इमीडिएटली आफ्टर द रिवोल्ट 1857. अभी हमने देखा था कि जो जस्ट 1857 के बाद कौन सा रिवोल्ट स्टार्ट हुआ था, तो इंडिगो रिवोल्ट. इंडिगो रिवोल्ट 1859-60 टुक प्लेस इन बंगाल इमीडिएटली आफ्टर रिवोल्ट 1857. सन्यासी rebellion occurred in 1763 to 1800, and Santhal rebellion occurred in 1855 to 56, and the Pavana uprising took place 1873 to 76. Indigo revolt began from Govindpur village of Nadia district in West Bengal, led by two former employees of indigo producers, Digambar Vishwas and Vishnu Vishwas. organized the peasant into a counter force and refused to sow indigo, and this indigo revolt of Bengal was directed against the British planters who forced the peasant to took advance and signed a contract which forced the peasant to grow indigo under the terms which were least profitable to them. उनके लिए वो लीस्ट प्रॉफिटेबल था और जो फार्मर्स थे वो नई इंडिगो उगाना चाहते थे. इन सितंबर 1859 ऑल द कल्टीवेटर्स रिवोल्टेड अगेंस्ट द लैंडलॉर्ड्स. सारे कल्टीवेटर्स मिलके उन्होंने लैंडलॉर्ड्स के अगेंस्ट रिवोल्ट स्टार्ट कर दिया. एंड द एजिटेशन स्प्रेड इन द रीजन लाइक नदिया, पबना, कुलना, ढाका, मालदा, etc. All indigo factories were shut down due to this strike, and the intellectual class of Bengal expressed support to the movement by their articles and rallies. The editor of Hindu Patriot हरिश्चंद्र मुखर्जी, इन्होंने भी बहुत अच्छा रोल प्ले किया मूवमेंट को सपोर्ट करने के लिए. एंड दिस रिवोल्ट पोर्ट्रेड बाय दीन बंधु मित्र इन हिज प्ले, उन्होंने अपने प्ले नील दर्पण में इनैक्ट किया था 1869 में. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, द इंडिगो रिवेलियन वाज अबाउट, तो ये इंडिगो रिवेलियन जो था वाज अबाउट द पीजेंट नॉट वांटिंग टू ग्रो इंडिगो बट बीइंग फोर्स्ड टू ग्रो एट अ प्राइस दैट वाज अनएक्सेप्टेबल. अभी हमने देखा है, ये सेम क्वेश्चन अभी रिपीट होगा. अब Who was the author of Neel Darpan, a book written on the miserable condition of indigo farmers? हम देखा दीनबंधु मित्र. Who wrote famous play Neel Darpan? Same question repeated. Who was the author of play Neel Darpan? Repeated question. Who was the composer of song Bande Mataram? तो ये है बंकिम चंद्र चटर्जी. द नेशनल सॉन्ग वंदे मातरम हैज बीन टेकन फ्रॉम द फेमस क्रिएशन बंकिम चंद्र चटर्जी आनंद मत, एंड द थीम ऑफ दिस नोवेल बेस्ड ऑन द सन्यासी रिवोल्ट. इट वाज primarily sung by Rabindranath Tagore during the Calcutta session of Indian National Congress 1896. Next question, the theme of the novel Anand Math is based on, same repeated question है, Sannyasi revolt. Which of the following revolt was made the famous by Bankim Chandra Chatterjee in his novel Anand Math Sannyasi? ये same question repeated है. Who among the following made Sannyasi rebellion famous through his writing? Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. Repeated question, the theme of Bankim Chandra Chatterjee famous novel Anand Math is based on Sannyasi revolt. What was the purpose of Bhari Tal resistance in Munger? Demand of a Baksat land restoration. Next question, the chief center of Wahhabi movement during the 19th century was Patna. The Wahhabi movement offered a serious organized threat to British supremacy in India during 19th century, and the movement was led by Sayyid Ahmad, who was greatly influenced by teaching of Abdul Wahhab of Arabia and Shah Waliullah, the Saint of Delhi. It was a revivalist movement which started that return of the true spirit of Islam and was only said to get rid of social political oppression. By the effort of Sayyid Ahmad, Wahhabi ideology was spread in Kabul, northwestern frontier provinces, Bengal, Bihar, central provinces region. In 1830, Sayyid occupied Peshawar for some time and issued a coin by his name, but later in the following year, Sayyid Ahmad lost his life in the Battle of Balkot. Patna became the center of Wahhabi movement after the death of Sayyid Ahmad. पटना कब सेंटर बना था वहाबी मूवमेंट का आफ्टर द डेथ ऑफ सैयद अहमद? ये भी क्वेश्चंस आते हैं. कूका मूवमेंट वाज ऑर्गेनाइज्ड बाय, तो ये गुरु राम सिंह कूका ने स्टार्ट किया था. कूका मूवमेंट वाज सिमिलर टू वहाबी मूवमेंट. बोथ मूवमेंट बिगेन एज रिलीजियस रिवोल्ट बट converted into political movement which has general ideology removal of British rule from India. In western Punjab, Kuka movement was initiated by Bhagat Jawahar Mal in 1840, who were known as Saint Sahab, and the origin of the Kuka movement had its root in religious purification of Sikhism. The leader of Kuka movement, Ram Singh, was expelled to Rangoon in 1872 and were died in 1885. Kuka movement was founded in Punjab. Repeated question है, the Pagalpanthi rebellion was indeed a rebellion of Garos. The Pagalpanthi rebellion was indeed a rebellion of Garos. Pagalpanthi, which was a Kasi religious community sects which was introduced by Karam Shah in North Bengal. Son of Karam Shah, successor Tipu, was inspired with religious and political purpose. Tipu and Shah led these people to uphold the religious right of the peasant in Bengal, and he captured Sherpur in 1825 and became the king. He appointed a judge, magistrate, collector to control the administration. Who was founder of Pagalpant? Karam Shah. Repeated question. With a reference to the Santhal Hul in 1855, which of the following statement is correct? Major Baro lost the battle with Santhal near Bhagalpur. Correct है. Goko was the important leader of Goda. Correct है. And Mahajan Deen Dayal Rai is also important name in this context. तो ये भी सही है. And there was a time when Santhal enjoyed full sovereignty over the area Ganga Valley near Muzaffarpur. तो ये कभी enjoy नहीं किया था, तो ये हमारा सी आंसर हो जाएगा. The Santhal rebellion, commonly known as Santhal Hul, was the rebellion present day Jharkhand in eastern India against both British colonial authority and zamindari system of the Santhal people. The rebellion started in July 1885 under the two Santhal rebels, Sindhu and Kanhu, and Major Baro troops stuffed a defeat engagement with the body of armed Santhal on 16th July 1855. Goko was the important leader of Goda and respectable old Santhal headman. Mahajan Deen Dayal Rai is also an important name in this context. However, they did not enjoy sovereignty over the area Ganga Valley. Next question. Who among the following was the leader of Farazi rebellion? So Dadu Mian. The sects was founded by Haji Shariatullah in Faridpur of Bengal, and they advocated the radical change in a religious, political and social phenomena. Son of Haji Shariatullah, Dadu Mian led the rebellion against British, and this movement later merged with Wahhabi in 1860 after the death of Dadu Mian. Who were the Farazis? The follower of Haji Shariatullah. Velu Thampi led the rebellion against the British in Kerala. Wellesley compelled the king of Travancore, Kerala, for subsidiary alliance in 1805. The king was very unpleased with the treaty and refused to pay subsidy to the British, and the behavior of British resident was rude. So Velu Thampi revolted, and which supported by Nair Battalion. Who founded Ramosi Krishak Jatha in Maharashtra? तो वासुदेव बलवंत फाड़के. Ramosi Krishak Jatha was founded by Vasudev Balwant Phadke in 1845 to 1803. He organized the people of Ramosi tribe and converted them into combat force, and he was arrested and sentenced for life and died in 1883 due to hunger strike against colonial rule in Kala Pani. Next question. The correct geographical location for Ramosi uprising was Western Ghat. Repeated question है ये. Which of the following place was the center for Gadkari rebellion? The Kolhapur. Gadkaris were hereditary servant of the Maratha and were attached to their forts. They rose rebellion in Kolhapur in 1844 due to the pitiable land revenue and acquisition policies. British army struggled hard for the suppression of this rebellion. Trace the tribe that rebelled against the Britishers because human sacrifice system was banned. Konds. The Konds was aboriginal tribe which was snatched from Bengal to Tamil Nadu and covering central provinces, and they revolted against British from 1837 to 56, and the people of Konds tribe were led by Charkha Bisoi. The main reason for revolt was stopping the Madhi system, traditional human sacrifice practiced by Konds, and the introduction of the new tax by British government rule etc. Who led the coal revolt? Buddhu Bhagat. Coal revolt was led by Buddhu Bhagat in Chota Nagpur region in 1831 to 32 and revolt ultimately suppressed by British government in 1848. Coal mutiny of 1831 under the Buddhu Bhagat took place in which of the following region? Repeated question है ये. Singhbhum. Coal are the inhabitants of Chota Nagpur and this area covered Ranchi, Singhbhum, Hazaribagh and western part of Manbhum. With application of a new land law, outsiders like Hindu, Sikh, Muslim, farmer, moneylender, etc. started coming into this tribal area in 1831 and this led massive exploitation of tribes. In 1831, under the leadership of Buddhu Bhagat, the coal rebels revolted and killed about 1,000 of outsiders. Only after the large-scale military operation, order could be restored. Who was the leader of Bhumi's revolt? Ganga Narayan. Bhumi's, who is born from the soil. Revolt was led by Ganga Narayan. It occurred in 1832 to 33 and Manbhum area in the Midnapur district of Bengal Presidency. The rebellion was resulted persecution of Bhumi's tribe people by the king and exploitatory policy of British Raj. The Vaghera uprising happened in Baroda. Baroda, supported by the British government, compelled by the Vaghera chief to take up arms, and the Vagheras attacked British territory during 1818 to 1819. A peace treaty concluded the revolt in November 1820. Next question: arrange the following uprising against the British colonial power in India prior to 1857 in the various parts of the country in correct chronological order. तो यहाँ से हम लोग देखते हैं the correct order of above uprising against the British colonial power in India follows. The Sepoy Mutiny of Bengal 1764 में हुआ था. Sepoy Mutiny Vellore 1806, Kutch Rebellion 1890 to 31, Coal Uprising 1831 to 32 and Santhal Revolt 1855 to 56. ये 1857 से जो पहले रिवोल्ट हुआ था वो है. Which among the following years Santhal Revolt was occurred? 1855 to 56. After the Santhal uprising subsided, what was the measures taken by the colonial government? The territories were called Santhal Pargana and were created, and it became illegal for Santhal to transfer land to a non-Santhal. Both are correct. The Santhal rebellion was the famous tribal revolt held in the Bihar, Odisha in 1855 to 56 AD. After the suppression of the revolt, the British government accepted the demand of सेपरेट संथाल परगना. उनका जो डिमांड था कि हमें सेपरेट संथाल परगना मिले वो एक्सेप्ट कर लिया गया. लेटर ऑन अ न्यू डिस्ट्रिक्ट संथाल परगना वाज क्रिएटेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट. न्यू संथाल डिस्ट्रिक्ट क्रिएट कर दिया एंड संथाल परगना टेनेंसी एक्ट वाज पास्ड which made it illegal to transfer their land to non-Santhal. वो अपना लैंड नॉन संथाल को ट्रांसफर नहीं कर सकते थे. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन: which of the following pair is not correctly matched? ये रिबेलियन है एंड ये ईयर है. तो जो नॉट करेक्टली मैच्ड है वो है अहोम. जो अहोम रिवोल्ट था वो 1828 में हुआ था. द अहोम रिबेलियन वाज हेल्ड अंडर द लीडरशिप ऑफ Gomdhar Kunwar in Ahom region 1828. Khasi rebellion 1829 to 33 broke out under the leader of Tirath Singh, and Coal revolt 1831 to 32 were held under the leadership of Buddho Bhagat and Ganga Narayan, Chota Nagpur region. And Santhal rebellion was the famous tribal revolt which of the four brothers के द्वारा led किया गया था: सिंधु, कान्हू, चांद and भैरव. When did Chota Nagpur tribal revolt occurred? So there was no revolt named Chota Nagpur tribal revolt, but there were many revolts at a different period like Chera revolt, Coal revolt, Santhal revolt, Munda revolt. Who led the revolt of Santhal? तो इसका आंसर हो जाएगा सिद्धू एंड कानू एंड भैरव एंड चांद. सी. ये सेम रिपीटेड क्वेश्चन है. Who led the Santhal rebellion? Same question, Sindhu and Kanhu. who was the Santhal Pargana region called in ancient time? Narikand. Santhal Pargana region were called Narikhand in the ancient times. According to Buddhist literature, the region were also called Kazangala. During the Mahabharat period of Santhal Pargana region was a part of Ang Mahajanpad. Which British commander were defeated by the Santhal in 1855? तो ये थे मेजर बारो. The rebel did not have many grievances against the white and Sahibs. Their main enemy was Diku's government officers. 10,000 Santhal assembled in the flood of Bhognadhi on 30th June 1855 unanimously passed a resolution to fight the corrupt government officials, Dikus. The Dikus betrayed them and forced them to slavery and abused their women, and they had no choice but fight them. They assembled under the leader of Sindhu Kanu Chand Bhairav and pledged fight till their independence. A small contingent of force under the Major Baro were called suppress the revolt, but met a tremendous resistance and was defeated at Pirbanati. And the victory of Santhal over the almighty British further fueled the rebellion, and it spread like a wildfire. Next question, which of the following uprising occurred in Maharashtra? तो Bhil uprising. The uprising of Bhils 1818 to 31. The Bhils were mostly concentrated in the hills range of Khandesh, and the British occupation of Khandesh in 1880 enraged the Bhils because they were suspicious of outsider inclusion into their territory. Moreover, it was believed that the Trimbakazi rebel minister of Bajirao II instigated the Bhils against the British occupation of Khandesh, and there was a general of Bhils in several small group and ranged in a plain, and there were a similar type of insurrection quite often by Bhils chief against the British. The British government used its military force to suppress the revolt rebels and at the same time try to win them over the various measures, but the British measures failed to bring Bhils their side. कोल अपराइजिंग हमने देख लिया है, रंबा भी देख लिया, संथाल भी देख लिया, तो सेम चीज हम लोग बार बार डिस्कस नहीं करेंगे. ये है मैच द फॉलोइंग. तो जो संथाल हुआ था वो झारखंड के रीजन में हुआ था, भील्स इन राजस्थान में हुआ था, और तोडा ये अंडमान एंड निकोबार में हुआ था, एंड जरावाज इन तमिलनाडु. Next question, who launched Lasodia movement for the social reform amongst the Bhils of Mebar, Bagar nearby the region? तो ये गोविंद गिरी. Social reformer like Surjit Bhagat and Govind Giri launched the Lasodia movement for social reform amongst the Bhil of Mebar, Bagar nearby the region in the latter half of 19th century. Govind Giri founded the Sabhya Samaj in 1833 with a view to organize the Bhils community. He considered as the propounder of Lasodia movement. Munda Rose revolt in 1895. One of the prominent revolt of 19th century in Indian subcontinent was Munda rebellion. This rebellion was led by Birsa Munda in the South Ranchi in the year 1899. Traditionally, Munda enjoyed the system known as Khunkati, which meant the original cleaner of forest. However, in the course of time, Munda realized that this system was being coded by the Jagirdars and Thikedars who came as a money lender and traders. In 1895, Birsa declared himself as the prophet, and this movement was popularly known as Sardari Ladai because the Munda Sardar struggled for their traditions of 30 years, and Munda was arrested in 1900 and later died in jail. Ulgulan revolt was related to Birsa Munda. Same question है ये. Next question, with reference to the history of India, Ulgulan or the Great Tumult is description of which of the following events? तो ये बिरसा मुंडा revolt 1899-1900 है. Ulgulan means the Great Tumult was the revolution to establish Munda Raj and the independence, which was led by Birsa Munda in the region of South Ranchi in 1899 to 1900, and it was the revolt to establish the right of indigenous people over their resources, which were being snatched away from them by landlord and the moneylender and colonial rulers during the pre-independence time. Who was the leader of Munda rebellion? बिरसा मुंडा. सेम रिपीटेड क्वेश्चन है, फिर ये मैच करना है, तो हम लोग यहाँ से देख लेते हैं. अहोम 1828 में हुआ था, कोल 1831 to 32, संथाल 1855 to 56 एंड मोपला 1821. विच ट्राइबल लीडर नोन एज धरती आवा, फादर ऑफ द वर्ल्ड? तो ये बिरसा मुंडा को बोला जाता था. Birsa Munda, known as Dharti Aba, the father of the earth, born in 1874, he was and Munda rebellion was led by Birsa Munda in South Ranchi in the year 1899, and 1895 Birsa claimed possess miraculous healing power and declared himself as the prophet. And Munda rebellion was initially a revivalist movement that aimed to eliminate all the foreign elements from the Munda society and make it retain its original pure character. The political and agrarian element were then included in the religious movement. Birsa also captured and he died in jail in June 1900. Next question, Birsa Munda was in favor of none of these. One of the prominent revolt of 19th century in Indian subcontinent was the Munda rebellion. The rebellion was led by Birsa Munda in Ranchi year 1899 to 1900, and the great Tumult aimed to establish independence Munda Raj, but he was not in favor of establishment of individual state, and there were the two reasons for revitalization of the movement. One was agrarian discontent and the other was advent of Christianity, and the movement aimed to reconstruct the tribal society from disintegration, and which was starting in its phase due to the stress and strain of the colonial rule. Who was the leader of Munda revolt? Same question repeat हो रहा है ये बार बार, तो बिरसा मुंडा. Which of the following, which of the working area of बिरसा मुंडा? तो ये रांची था. In which territory did the tribal rebel against the British? Bihar. Munda and Ho tribes of Chota Nagpur challenged the British Army 1820 to 22 again 1831 AD, and the reason was the state disharmony till 1837. The word Adivasi were used for first time refer to the tribal people. Thakkar Bappa. The word Adivasi used for the first time to refer the tribal people by Amrital Vishnu Vitthal Das Thakkar, and popularly known as Thakkar Bappa, and he was a loyal member, servant of Indian society, and advocated the right of untouchables and tribals. Thakkar Bappa was deeply influenced to reform and measures advocated by Gandhi. During 1833-34, he came to close contact with the great leader, undertook a Harijan tour with him, and he was appointed as the secretary of Harijan Sevak Sangh set up by Gandhiji. Which among us the following provided a common factor for the tribal insurgents in India in the 19th century? The complete disruption of the old agrarian order of the tribal community. जो main reason था 19th century का ट्राइबल मूवमेंट सबका, वो था कि उनका जो ओल्ड एग्रेरियन सिस्टम था उनको जो वो नया सिस्टम ला दिया तो वो उन्हें पसंद नहीं आ रहा था, तो दिस वाज द मेन रीजन फॉर डिस्ट्रप्शन ऑफ ट्राइबल कम्युनिटी। द फैक्टर, यस, ये हमने डिस्कस कर लिया। द फैक्टर बिहाइंड द ट्राइबल इंसर्जन इन इंडिया ड्यूरिंग 19th century. Ho's revolt took place during the 1820 to 21. Ho's revolt or Ho revolt took place 1820 to 21 and center which was located Santhal Pargana of Bihar. Next question, where did Khairwar tribal movement occurred? 1874. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है, हु अमंग द फॉलोइंग वाज द लीडर ऑफ सम एंटी ब्रिटिश रिवोल्ट इन संभालपुर? तो ये सुरेंद्र साई थे। कंसीडर द फॉलोइंग इवेंट एंड करेक्ट द क्रोनोलॉजिकल ऑर्डर, सीक्वेंस दीज इवेंट्स। तो ये है, सबसे पहले हुआ था संथाल 1855 में हुआ था, फिर हुआ था हमारा सिपॉय म्यूटनी 1857, देन हमारा हुआ था इंडिगो रिवोल्ट 1860 एंड देन हुआ था डेक्कन रॉयट्स 1875। लिस्ट मैच द लिस्ट 1 लिस्ट 2 सेलेक्ट द करेक्ट आंसर फ्रॉम कोड गिवन बिलो। तो ये सेम वही है, तो इसका हम लोग यहाँ से देख लेते हैं। बंगाल इंडिगो रिवोल्ट 1859 to 60, पवना रिवोल्ट 1879 to 80, मोपला रिवोल्ट 1821 एंड तेभंग रिवोल्ट 1846 to 47। तो ये हमें एकदम बिल्कुल याद होना चाहिए डेट के साथ, क्योंकि ये क्वेश्चन बार बार रिपीट हो रहा है। मैच द लिस्ट 1 लिस्ट 2 सेलेक्ट द करेक्ट आंसर यूजिंग द कोड गिवन बिलो। तो यहाँ से हम लोग देख लेते हैं, मोपला अकर्ड इन 1821, पवना इन 1873 to 76, in Bengal Ika movement 1821 and Munda took place in 1899. Mopla revolt 1821 broke out in Kerala। ये फिर से मैच द फॉलोइंग्स है जो हम लोग यहाँ से देख लेते हैं। पवना रिवेलियन 1873 to 85, ईका मूवमेंट 1822, संथाल 1855 to 56 एंड ताना भगत मूवमेंट 1914। फिर से देख रहे हैं, ये क्वेश्चन अगेन एंड अगेन आ रहा है, तो हमें सारे मूवमेंट्स को बिल्कुल एकदम फिंगर टिप्स पे याद होना चाहिए। रंपा रिवेलियन 1879 to 80, पवना पीजेंट रिवोल्ट 1873 to 76, बंगाल इंडिगो रिवोल्ट 1859 to 60 एंड जयंतिया रिवेलियन 1860 to 63। द इमीडिएट कॉज ऑफ द डेक्कन रॉयट्स ऑफ 1875 was the shadow of famine. The immediate cause of Deccan riots in 1875 was the shadow of famine. In May-June 1875, peasants of Maharashtra in some part of Pune, Satara, Ahmednagar district revolted against the increasing agrarian distress. Mopla revolt 1821 took place in Kerala. Mopla revolt occurred in the Malabar region in Kerala in 1921 and most of the local tenants were Muslim while the landlords were Hindu and the movement was against the exploitation of landlords. हर एक मूवमेंट का मेन रीजन यही था कि वो लोग एक्सप्लॉइट होते थे अपने लैंडलॉर्ड्स के द्वारा या ब्रिटिशर्स के द्वारा, और ये एक डिस्ट्रेस एक मूवमेंट में बदल जाता है। मोपला रिवेलियन इन 1921 took place in Malabar region of Kerala. Mopla revolt same repeated है। Next question, with the reference of the revolt in the British India, people known Kalar belong to which of the following region? Madurai. Kalar were the people related to the Madurai community of South India, and the people of Kalar tribe were are known for the revolt against British rule. The tribe is associated with the Madurai region of South India. फिर से ये हमारा मैच द लिस्ट 1 लिस्ट 2 है, जिसको हम लोग यहाँ से देख लेते हैं। बैरकपुर म्यूटनी 1824, बहरामपुर रिवोल्ट फरवरी 1857, संथाल 1855 एंड वेलोर म्यूटनी 1806। Which of the following is not correctly matched? The Mopla revolt, ये केरला में हुआ था, ठीक है। कूका रिवोल्ट पंजाब में हुआ था, ठीक है। एंड कोकी रिवोल्ट ये गुजरात में नहीं हुआ था। एंड चुनार रिवोल्ट ये भी मध्य प्रदेश में नहीं हुआ था। तो ये हम लोग देख लेते हैं। जो चुआर रिवोल्ट 1868, a massive rebellion broke out in southwestern Bankura डिस्ट्रिक्ट ऑफ नॉर्थ वेस्ट मिदनापुर डिस्ट्रिक्ट ऑफ वेस्ट बंगाल में ये हुआ था, मध्य प्रदेश में नहीं हुआ था। एंड जो कोली रिवोल्ट है, कोली कम्युनिटी वाज द एथनिक ग्रुप मोस्टली फाउंडेड इन मिडिल महाराष्ट्र एंड दे रोज अगेंस्ट द ब्रिटिश रूल। एंड ये जो रिवोल्ट था ये महाराष्ट्र में हुआ था। तो ये ऐसे क्रॉस कनेक्शन हमारा, ये मध्य प्रदेश में नहीं हुआ था, ये वेस्ट बंगाल में हुआ था और ये महाराष्ट्र में हुआ था। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन हमारा, विच वन ऑफ फॉलोइंग पेयर इज नॉट करेक्टली मैच। देख रहे इतना इसको ईयर को याद करना है कि ये बार बार वही पूछता है कि कौन सा इसमें करेक्टली मैच नहीं है। तो जो पवना रिवोल्ट हुआ था 1873 में हुआ था, डेक्कन किसान रिवोल्ट 1875 में हुआ था, सन्यासी रिवोल्ट 1763 एंड कोल अपराइजिंग 1831 to 32। इसका कोई ट्रिक नहीं है, ये हमें बिल्कुल याद होना ही पड़ेगा। इसके लिए आप अगेन एंड अगेन वीडियो को देखिए और 2-3 बार देखने से ये अपने आप याद हो जाता है। विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग पॉपुलर मूवमेंट्स अकर्ड आफ्टर 1857। जो 1857 के बाद कौन सा हुआ था, तो ये था 2, 3, 4 इंडिगो रिवोल्ट, इंडिगो रिवोल्ट हो गया हमारा, डेक्कन एग्रीकल्चर राइट्स एंड बिरसा मुंडा अपराइजिंग। भील्स revolted against the British in MP and Maharashtra. The uprising of Bhils 1818 to 31 was largely concentrated in Khandes, present-day Maharashtra and Gujarat. Khandes name under the British occupation in 1818. The Bhils considered them as outsiders, and on the instigation of Triambakji, rebel minister of Bajirao II, they revolted against the Britishers. Besides this, some agitation also occurred in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh in 19th-20th century. Which one of following pair is not correctly matched? तो इसमें से कौन सा करेक्टली मैच नहीं है, तो जो डी है वो करेक्टली मैच नहीं है। मुंडा रिवेलियन लेड बाय बिरसा मुंडा इन साउथ रांची ईयर 1899, ये करेक्ट है। संथाल रिवेलियन अकर्ड 1855 to 56, सिंधु एंड कानू वाज लीडिंग द संथाल रिवेलियन। अहोम रिवोल्ट लेड बाय गोमधर कुंवर in 1828 and Thana Bhagats was a tribal community in Indian state of Jharkhand and they related to historical Thana Bhagat movement 1914 and Thana Bhagats were founded by Aron Sant, Jatra Bhagat and Turiya Bhagat. In which year Jatra Oran started the Tana Bhagat movement? 1914. फिर ये मैच करने वाला आ गया, तो इसको हम लोग यहाँ से देखते हैं। कुकी रिवोल्ट ये किस जगह पे हुआ था और कौन से टाइम में हुआ था, ये दोनों हमें याद होना चाहिए, क्योंकि सम टाइम वो पूछ लेता है कि किस जगह से रिलेटेड है और सम टाइम पूछता है कि किस टाइम पे हुआ था। तो कुकी रिवोल्ट 1817 to 19 मिदनापुर एंड त्रिपुरा, कुका रिवोल्ट पंजाब। ये दोनों आप कुकी और कुका को एक मत समझना, क्योंकि कुकी रिवोल्ट जो है मिदनापुर ये त्रिपुरा में हुआ था एंड कुका रिवोल्ट पंजाब में हुआ था। पवना रिवोल्ट बंगाल में हुआ था एंड बिरसा मुंडा बिहार, टुडे झारखंड। विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज नॉट करेक्टली मैच, तो यहाँ से हम लोग देख लेते हैं। कुका रिवेलियन वॉज स्टार्टेड बाय भगत जवाहरलाल इन 1840। द ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ द रिवोल्ट वॉज टू परस्यू द सिखिज्म एंड फ्रॉम prostitution and uphold the religious purity of Sikhism. Kuki rebellion started 1817. It was against the British government and dictated the joint labor crop WWI efforts, and Kuki refused to join the rebel against British. Next question. The first tribal leader who inspired by Mahatma Gandhi and his ideology was जोधा नंग। Jodanang was the first tribal leader who were inspired by Gandhiji, and he was the main leader of Manipur Naga tribe, and he along with the Rani Gaidi Liu started the social religious reform including the freedom fighter. तो यहाँ पे फ्रेंड्स हमारा ये चैप्टर खत्म होता है जिसमें कि हम लोगों ने 76 क्वेश्चन डिस्कस किया है और सारे क्वेश्चंस बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हैं, तो इसको आप अच्छे से अगेन एंड अगेन देखिए। और ऐसे ही आपको स्टेट पीसीएस और यूपीएससी से रिलेटेड वीडियो चाहिए, क्योंकि इसमें जितने भी इंफॉर्मेशन है ये सारे स्टेट पीसीएस एंड यूपीएससी के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। ये आप खुद देखेंगे, जब वीडियो देखेंगे तो आपको पता चलेगा कि कौन सा क्वेश्चन कितनी बार पूछा गया है और ये कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है। तो ऐसे ही और वीडियो आते रहेंगे। अगर आपको ये वीडियो अच्छा लगा है तो प्लीज इसे लाइक कीजिए, इस चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कीजिए और कमेंट्स कीजिए कि और आपको क्या इम्प्रूवमेंट इस वीडियो में चाहिए। एंड थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग दिस वीडियो।